Welcome to the Nagual Zone. My name is Anaam. Interesting question today from a user Kresimir Radan. He commented on my video after losing the human form. Link will come up. Read his comment. He's not a native English speaker, so I will skip through to the relevant parts because they're slightly hard to understand. He says, Don Juan told Carlos that volunteers are not welcome on the path of knowledge. Absolutely right. Don Juan told Carlos that volunteers are not welcome on the path of knowledge. That does not mean that volunteers are not welcome on the path of knowledge. It does mean that Don Juan told Carlos of that thing. Okay? Two different things. Now, if Don Juan told me the volunteers are not welcome on the path of knowledge, I would say, okay, good for you. Good for you. But they are welcome on the path of knowledge as far as I'm concerned. It doesn't matter to me. You see, so be careful of who you make a prophet. Because as soon as you make someone else a prophet, you are handing over your ability to think and you're getting them to think for you. Now, there's a caveat to that. If we don't know about a topic enough and we ask someone more qualified about that topic, whatever they say is coming from a different place than us. So it behooves us to listen to them. Absolutely correct. But all too often what I see is that people take these books and what we do is we use them as a sort of a Bible or it becomes the gospel truth and we stop thinking for ourselves. If you stop and think, volunteers are not welcome on the path of knowledge. It is one of the most stupid statements that anyone could ever make. And if the crow was here, I get to, I've had interactions with the crow. If he knows me, I know him. If the crow was here, I'd tell him, this is one of the most stupid things you ever said. And we'd have a good laugh about it. So things, point being, be careful of gospelizing things. Apply a little bit of common sense. Think for yourself. If you wanted to be on the path of knowledge and someone came along and said this to you, how would that make you feel? Would that encourage you? Would that uplift you? Would that make you feel inspired? Would that make your body open up? Would that make your heart open up? Would that make you smile? Would that make you trust that person? No. You would shut down. You would go, oh, well, there's no hope then. Right then. So that answer did not that answer only served, oh, volunteers are not allowed on the path of knowledge. That reply only serves the righteousness, the self-righteousness of the speaker, but does not serve the seeker. And for me, it is not right. So let's move on. That's what I think about this whole nonsense about, there's another thing in the books where he says, oh, they're like broken gourds or always leaking or something. What nonsense is that? What utter rubbish. I call bullshit on that. Well, there you go. How about bringing a worthy opponent into the arena of life so that we realize that our death is closer than we think? Okay, so here we are forcing our education. We're forcing our education. Can you tell how we are forcing our education? It's kind of like there's a syllabus, do your studies, when the exams come, do your exams, you'll move on to the next year, then do your studies, and it goes on. You don't have to go around forcing your education. When the right time comes, a worthy opponent, a petty tyrant, whatever, will come into your life and you will be required to apply your training to deal with that challenge. If you go around trying to find worthy opponents, you're already acting out of insanity. How do you know what is a worthy opponent? Well, you decide. You don't even know. You're an apprentice. How do you decide what's a worthy opponent? Who's a worthy opponent? You don't even know. So you're already projecting onto people and situations your own insanity, right? Better to let life decide who is a worthy opponent for you and who is not. Stop overthinking this stuff. As far as death is concerned, how about bringing a worthy opponent into the arena of life so that we realize that our death is closer than we think? It's a noble cause, it's a noble goal. There's too much force in it. There's too much ambition. There's too much agenda in it. See, death will come for you when it comes for you. And there isn't a damn thing you can do about it. Is it closer than we think? Absolutely. Do we behave as if it'll never come? Absolutely. We do. Compulsively. We must. Life has hardwired that into us. If we didn't, we would not struggle to survive. We would give up life far too easily, right? So don't go looking. Don't go looking. The lessons will come. There are plenty of lessons to learn in life. Believe me. Let them come to you. Don't go looking for trouble when you don't need it. There's a weird question coming up here. I have no idea what that means. If we have enough energy, the Nagual will prepare an event for us. Maybe you mean the Nagual as in the Nagual surrounding us will prepare an event for us? Yeah. If we have enough energy, it doesn't matter to the Nagual whether you have enough energy or no energy or whatever energy, 10% energy, 50 energy, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. If there's a challenge coming your way, it's going to come to you whether you're in a coma or you're the world champion of wrestling or whatever. If you're a billionaire or you're a beggar, challenge is going to come to you when it's meant to come to you. So it doesn't matter if you have enough energy or not. Okay? I am familiar with the idea of reincarnation in the Eastern philosophy. You have mentioned it a couple of times, okay? Like more info of it from the warrior's stand. So you'd like more info on reincarnation. Is it the awareness that we grow in the second attention that is reincarnated? Very important point, very interesting point. Because the tonal will learn with the modality of the time. Absolutely correct. If so, a grandfather can hope to find freedom, possibly even in the next incarnation. Fabulous thinking. I like how you're thinking there, Kresimir. Reincarnation is from the Toltec's viewpoint, it's a very, it's a tricky topic. Your main focus, I want your main focus to be this moment. When reincarnation comes, it'll come. First, deal with the death of this incarnation. Worry about the birth of the next incarnation when that is happening, right? So it's a tricky subject for the Toltec because we are not into philosophies. We're not into debating the rightness and wrongness of certain perspectives or not. What we do as warriors is we take a perspective. If it works for us, we use it to gain more energy. Why do we want to gain more energy or free more energy within us? So that we can make the jump into freedom. That perspective itself in itself is worthless, has no value for the warrior. So reincarnation as a topic, as a philosophical debate, or there are pros, there's evidence for it. No, but I don't believe it. Back and forth debating is a waste of time for the warrior. If it's a concept I can use to jump, I'll use it to jump. I couldn't care less what that concept is. Pro-Trump. I am pro-Trump. Great. Does that make you get enough energy to jump? Use it. Be the best pro-Trump supporter that ever lived. against Trump. Trump is a racist. Trump is this, Trump is that, blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. Is that perspective going to give you enough energy to jump into your freedom and towards your death? Then use that perspective. A warrior is a hunter. A warrior does not get to pick and choose. A warrior is not that self-indulgent, you see. We take what comes our way and we make the best use of it with the most impeccable care. And we use it to our advantage. We jump. So in that sense, warriors are very selfish creatures. But our selfishness doesn't harm us, doesn't deplete us, and it certainly doesn't harm others or deplete others. You know, it is a kind of a holistic selfishness. I'm going to look after myself and I'm going to keep my fingers out of your pie. Right? It is none of my business or none of my concern what your philosophies are, what you are doing, what you're not doing. It doesn't matter to me. I am here for my own reasons. I'm here for my own growth, evolution, and whatever serves that, I take it. Yeah? So that is a reorienting of perspective I'd like you to consider, because it's very important. We waste far too much time becoming available to nonsense. Think about it. It's true. We make so much out of such little things. We make such a big deal. This philosophy, that philosophy, politics, religions, Toltec, warriors, blah, blah, this channel. It's all nonsense. The question to ask is, am I learning impeccability? Does my inner silence increase? Am I getting inspired to move towards freedom? Is it giving me true knowledge, genuine knowledge? And remember, all knowledge ultimately leads to self-knowledge. Remember that. Is this thing giving me self-knowledge? So coming back to reincarnation, I don't care if it exists or not. It really doesn't matter to me. However, it is definitely a process that happens as a natural course of things as far as awareness is concerned. So when you have awareness, so you see there is consciousness and then there is individual awareness. My awareness is the same as your awareness, but our points of perception, if you want to call it, or the way we are assembling that awareness into a coherent reality for us, a coherent experience for us, is very unique, very different, right? Reincarnation, so after death you will retain the quality of your awareness. Absolutely guaranteed. That is a guarantee. Even though I'm the first person to say that unless you're dead, you won't know anything about death. This much I can say about death, that you will retain the quality of your awareness. You will also retain traits like your ability to be impeccable. If you practice that in this life, let's say in the next life, there's no time. I don't know why people think it's got to be linear. So I died in 1973, so I must have got reincarnated in 1975, because it's all very linear, isn't it? No, it's not linear. Awareness doesn't work like that, but that's a different topic. So let's say that, in the next incarnation, attributes like the ability to be more impeccable, the ability to be more honest with oneself, all these get pre-programmed into the next coding, into the next mold, and we bring that. And so we don't have to start all over again with our traits, our abilities, our attributes. In fact, you'll find many kids who start singing incredible, in tune, really the sense of rhythm, amazing, and they're only 5 years old or something. and they'll go on to X Factor, and everyone will be suitably awed and shocked, and the whole deal. So these kids, where are they learning that from? In 5 years, you can learn literally nothing about singing, at least to the level that these kids display. Or you have genius little kiddie piano players. They're just racing on the piano, or drummers. YouTube's full of such prodigies and geniuses. They're retaining that training that they did in the previous and the previous and perhaps the previous. They're bringing that force, and then they're multiplying that now again in this lifetime. So definitely there is that process. It's undeniable. It's not an argument. It's not a debate. There's plenty of evidence for that. So that's the good news. That's the good news. That our existence seems to be incremental in nature, and we take with us the consequences of our living into the next cycle of life, into the next circle of life. You see, I like this. Reincarnation as a term and what it points to kind of doesn't work for me, but the circle of life, cycles of existence, they kind of work better. They are a bit more they're a bit more accurate and neutral. They're not so loaded like reincarnation. You see what I mean? So hopefully that should answer your question. Absolutely. Work in this life. You got this life. First of all, just forget about any other lives and this, that. It doesn't matter. Become a master of this moment. Right now. Where is your inner silence? Are you sinking into it right now? Does your breathing slow down? Does it become a little bit easier? Does your body relax? You see? Now we are plugging into the moment. Now we are not concerned about reincarnation. Now the questions that come out of us are of a different quality. This inner silence, try and plug into it again and again, 1,000,000 times a day. And eventually it'll become a way of life for you. Then I promise you, everything will open up. The next step and the next step. Toltec training isn't just inner silence training, although inner silence training is a basic Toltec syllabus. There's impeccability. There's so many different aspects to the Toltec path. But we must start with inner silence. Yeah? Make sure you're plugged into this moment. You're noticing everything around you. You're allowing your body to drink in the environment it's in. You're not shutting things off and staring at a screen all day and scrolling up and just constantly communicating with just your mind, a bodiless head just floating around living life, just thinking away like a mad person. You're actually embodied. Your awareness fills your entire body. Let me remind you again. Your awareness fills your entire body. And from there you move in each moment. You move to the next and the next and the next moment. This is where I want you to be. From here, reincarnation is a moot point. Can you see that? Hope this answers your question in a weird way, I don't know. It's not a straight answer, but I hope it reoriented you to something far more essential in my experience and opinion than concepts and ideas. We don't even know anything about death unless we die. So reincarnation is kind of like well ahead of all that. Let me know what you think of this video and what I have said here. Leave your comments. I appreciate all of them. And if you have any questions you feel will benefit all of us by being asked and I can answer them, absolutely put them down and I will see you in the next video. Walk in freedom. Bye for now.